Hello and welcome back to my garage here in Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. So I shuffled around the cars that I had in here the other day, and I got two of them done so that I can make some room in here. The Dodge Charger over here is completely finished. I did change the engine because at default it comes with the V8 OHV mag, which I find to be disappointing, especially as compared to the V8 OHV Hemi once it's fully built out. As you can see, it has 764 horsepower. So this is what I'm talking about when I say muscle car. The factory color was this kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. It was kind of like a dirty salmon pink, or closer to brown, with some like dirty orange overtones to it. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was ugly. So I went ahead and painted it black and put white stripes on it. I think it looks really great. I changed the wheels. The default rims that the car comes with is the Rim Atlanta, which is one of the in-game car's default tires. It is, where is it? No, that's Alt. At. This one. And yeah, I just didn't think it looks very good on this car. So these are like Retro 2B, I think, which I think is a really good looking wheel, especially on an old school car like this. So this is done, and it is about 111,000, 117. So yeah, 117 grand for that. And over here is the Mercedes SLS, not SLS, this is the Mercedes 300 SL, which I picked up in a barn. The Charger was also from a barn. And this one is also finished now. Fully done, fully upgraded. It was in not terrible shape. It was not in terrible shape to begin with, except the engine was missing a spark plug. It didn't have the wires. One of the belts was missing. Not that one. This one here didn't have this belt on this side. Other than that, it was fairly complete. And one of these days, I kind of mean to take one of these cars that's missing a few bits. It didn't have. This one has two coils for some reason, and it didn't have one of those. So I wouldn't have had to add much to get the car to start and run. Probably would have run awfully, but it would have run. And one of these days I've been meaning to take a car I don't really care about, which actually this car kind of qualifies as that. But take one that's missing only a few bits and pieces, slap them on and run it and see how it drives. See what kind of power it has, when it's barely running. It's not really the kind of thing I like to do, though. I just noticed that these vents right here, up here in the just above the rear window, you can see through stuff through them. Like you can see the engine crane over there through these vents. I've never noticed that before. I don't think you can see through them from the inside. Yeah, I don't think you can, but you can sure see through them from the outside. Anywho, this one's finished, so it can go, and this is about the same price, a little bit less than the Charger was, 113 grand as opposed to 117. Oh, and that blue was the factory color. I decided to go ahead and leave it that way. So what we have in here now is, this is a Mercedes SLS, which is really a really nice car, and I'll probably spotlight this more closely later. And this over here is a Dodge Viper, which we did recently. But what I want to do is this car. This is actually an in-game vanilla car, the Sakura GT20, and this is a nice little car. And I like to do these occasionally because you can usually make them look really cool. So we're going to go through and rip all the body parts off of it and see what we can fix. Not too long ago I did a Jaguar E-Type mod, which is pretty clearly, this car is pretty clearly meant to evoke that. I've actually never had them in, I've never had both of those cars in here at the same time. And one of these days I should try to see if I can contrive that to happen. Because I'd like to see them side by side, just to see how closely they match. This one has a really good engine. It has this was also a barn find, and you can see the engine is mostly there. It's missing. Come off, thank you. Missing one of the air filters here. There's a belt missing that goes to the alternator. There's no exhaust manifolds. So this one actually wouldn't be too difficult to slap together the bits and pieces that it would need to make it run. I'm trying to remember to use the battery charger because I rarely do that. Which wheel is this? That looks like a Rim Atlanta, actually. So what do I have in here? Let's go ahead and bounce everything off the repair table real quick. I didn't see anything break there, so that's probably a good sign. Okay, we'll need the windows and the headlights, one of the taillights. Okay, so we'll grab all of these. And was that the right tail light? I think. I'll make sure it was the right tail light. Okay. So get rid of this. Replace those plates. Both headlights on the right tail light. So seat 3 fabric B and steering wheel 15. I wonder if it would be. I wonder if there's an all black version of this. No, not seat 4. So I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna put these black seats and I'm gonna put this steering wheel on it because I think that other steering wheel looks kinda, I don't really want to use it. Which means I bought a steering wheel I don't need, but that's fine. Okay, I think that'll look alright. That battery should be done by now. Okay, we'll go ahead and slap all the body parts back on it. Oh. Did I not? Okay, clearly I didn't buy that. Maybe it didn't have one. Because I don't remember noticing if there was a bad one. Maybe it didn't have one to begin with. Okay, we're set there. think I'll be changing those wheels too. I don't know. I just did that Charger in black, and I may not do this one in black. Well, I want to see what kind of liveries they have for it, though. Okay, so the front exhaust section. Well, let's get the fuel pump. Actually, I'll get a filter and a pump because I'm going to need them both. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Middle muffler, rear muffler V8. It's the rear muffler V8 OHV. And this front exhaust section we can't put on yet. The engine won't come out if it's in, or vice versa. These are parts that are left over from that Mercedes 300. These are ones that I took off the engine and repaired. Replaced these in the engine with performance parts. But these are repaired stock parts that need to go. So $400 for that. $125 for that. Yeah, it is. I wonder what it would look like that. And what do we have? That's like the racing stuff. Does it just have some stripes? If it does there, I can't tell. If there's a livery on that, I can't see it. Is there... Now that's something I can work with. How will it look like that? Super gaudy. Okay, now that I'm happy with. That looks way better than I expected it to. Yeah. That looks amazing. My God, look at that. I'm gonna have to be really selective on what rims to put on it. Gonna have to find something that's gonna really complement that paint scheme, because that looks amazing. I'm really impressed with how that looks. In fact, I have an idea. There's a particular set of rims that just occurred to me that I think will look really good with this. Get to that in a minute. I can't remember. I think it's one of the classic ones. I can't remember the number, but I know which one it is. When we get there, we'll see. Do you have a starter? You don't. This is one of those ones where the car, they put the engine in, car goes up, put the transmission on, car comes down, put the starter in. Actually, that should be the last step at that point. I'm actually kind of enthusiastic. about driving this car. I mean, this particular i6 engine is a common one that's used a bunch, but it's one of my favorite engines to build, and it comes out really nice. Really, it's a good amount of power, and in this car, I think this car is going to look phenomenal going down the track. I was just thinking, yeah, there's an oil pan. This is a barn find car. Junkyard cars usually don't have oil pans. Barn find cars usually are more complete in terms of the parts that they come with. Because I've gotten junkyard cars where the engine was literally just the block and the crankshaft and nothing else. But, of course, if there's oil in it, it won't let me take the engine out. So I'm just going to assume that there's no oil in it, because there almost never is. I think one time I can recall in all the time I've been playing this game where I got a barn find car and I went to pull the engine and it told me I had to drain the oil first. They almost never have oil. Once in a blue moon. Of course, now that I've talked about it, this is going to be the one that has oil. Okay, so we are all stripped down. $14 bushings. And could probably repair a couple of these calipers and cylinders, but I'm not gonna bother with it. And we'll get rid of the tie rods and the sway bars. So that was all front sway B stuff. And then a full set of disc brakes. And then our 14 bushings. We'll grab the double wishbone shock absorbers, because we're going to need to put those together. Okay, what else? The hubs. Hub bearings, let's see, hub caps, hub bearings. The rest of this stuff we'll try to repair. And then the suspension was, I don't remember which rear shock absorber it had. Shock absorber B. But these can go now, because I bought those. Sometimes one of those spring caps will be repairable too. You end up fixing one spring cap out of everything. Okay, that should take care of that. What are these? These are 165, 80, 15. 165/80. That's a big sidewall. 15-inch wheel. Okay, the rim that I have in mind is this one right here. And we're not going to need to paint that. Get rid of the gearbox stuff. And that was the i4 RWD gearbox. And we're okay. That should take us down to potentially repairable stuff. Get these tires mounted, and we'll pound our way through the repair bench real quick here. I think we got most of it. I actually wasn't looking because I got distracted there for a moment, but okay, darn, we didn't get to repair that, so only $45 for it. Not too bad, we repaired most of those parts. Front wheel hub, bottom suspension arm. Then there was the rear knuckle. What were those again? Rear knuckle C, front knuckle C, so just knuckle C. And are those the right? 165/80/15. That's a really narrow tire with a great big sidewall. Huh. I'm just going to wait for this last one to finish here. That was the last one, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, the coil spring rear end is easy to put together. It's probably the simplest of the rear ends you can do. I mean, it has some leaf spring parts, but it doesn't have the big leaf springs to deal with. It has the solid axle arms, and they're really easy. I think that's gonna work really well. The chrome and black contrast, I think, is going to be perfect. It'll match the body of the car really well. That's a rim that I've used before on some other cars. It's one that I like a lot, and it works well on a lot of different styles. This one I think is going to be really good though. I mean, I remember using it on a Barracuda, and it was a purple Barracuda, but I thought they looked really good on that one too. But I've only been experimenting with like the chrome paint schemes on the car bodies lately. It's something I haven't normally done, and sometimes it works out really well and other times it doesn't. This one I think is going to be one that works out really well. Of course, the black chrome is like, it's like oil slick black, like ink blot black, you know, and it looks wet almost. So that usually works. That usually works well anyway. I think it would work. I think it would work well on just about anything. I'm kind of thinking if they ever do get those Chrysler Performance parts to come out that we've been waiting on for months, that the Chrysler 300 would look really cool in black chrome if we could get tinted windows on it and put some chrome, some chrome rims, but they'd have to be heavy-duty rims, something like I don't know, like the ones that are on the Ford F-350, because then you could call it a limousine, a high-end limousine. I think that would look neat. Hopefully we'll get something like that. Because I've done some black, like the high-end luxury sedans that we have access to. Mostly the in-game cars, like the Seo 550 and the Royale. I think it's the M8. Look at that. Oh man. Yeah, I'm going to be really happy with this, I think. Anyway, the Seo 550 and the Royale M8, they're big luxury. Where the hell did I put that? No. They're like big luxury sedans, four-door sedans. And I've done a couple of them in black, kind of imagining them as limousine-type cars. I'm going to have to experiment with, like, chroming them out just to see how it would look. Of course, the only downside to doing these kind of cars is you have to take the whole engine apart and repair everything and replace everything and put it all back together. And it's not totally complete, but there's a lot of it there. So it's kind of like doubling your effort. On a junkyard car, a lot of times you don't have to do that much. Let's see, I want to get the belt. The belts are missing on this one, so I'm going to have to buy... Well, I would have to buy them anyway, because you can't replace them, repair them. Same thing with these pulleys. Of course, this engine has an absolute ton of cam caps to take off. I think per capita there are more of these in this engine than there are in the big Pagani V12. Because there's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of them on one 6-cylinder engine. And I think the big Paganis have like 10 per side. Okay, we'll turn it excuse me. We'll turn it over. Get the have to unhook the bearings for the crankshaft and the piston connecting rods. This is one of those engines I'd really like to see run. I'd like to see the crankshaft turning and the pistons going up and down. I think that'd be really cool. It's something I've mentioned before, but I would really like it if they would come up with some sort of transparent view so that you could see the engine work. I imagine that the engines don't actually turn. I mean, once you've assembled them, even when you run them and you hear engine noises, I bet that they don't actually turn. Okay, so what I want to do is get rid of some stuff here right away. I have an extra piston ring for some reason. And we'll go ahead and buy these, because these are not repairable, and we'd be replacing them in any case. That's the wrong belt. That's just great. Yeah, I6B, you don't need that one. Okay, what have we got here? Need the side draft air filters. I'm going to try to repair those carburetors. And we'll replace them, but I'm going to try to repair them first. Where is that? Where is it? I know there's I6. There it is. Okay, so get rid of these. I think I actually have... Yeah, I have an extra clip. That one probably won't be fixable right there. I'm just going to get rid of it now. So now I need to get cam gears, timing chain sprocket, and the timing chain for that matter. These are not repairable, whereas the bearing caps for the crankshaft and the pistons are repairable. These ones are not. So we'll just get rid of these now. And that was 14 of them. And we're getting down to the stuff I want to attempt to repair. I'm going to need to buy an alternator. Actually, I'm going to need to buy, like, this. I know I need 2 of these because it didn't have any. I need 2 of them. And I've already got that. Because those are performance parts that are going to replace the stuff that was already on the engine. 16% on him. I think I didn't buy an oil filter, did I? Nope. I knew I need one. So what do we need still? This is what always happens when I repair this stuff out of a barn find car. No matter how many crank caps and rod caps there are, I always end up having to repair one of each. Replace one of each, rather. That can go. 40 bucks for that, not worth repairing it. The alternator we repaired, 100 bucks. Carburetor for 40, engine head for 475. Camshaft for 100. So that's worth doing. So all I need now is 2 caps and a crankshaft. Okay, I think I have everything. We'll find out as we go, if I do. This engine has 5 of those caps holding the crankshaft on, or in place, really. Why? Yeah. Was at an angle where I couldn't quite touch that one. Doesn't it look so much nicer though when it's all clean with shiny new metal? After the rusty mess, whereas the inside of the crankcase would be like, if it's rusty inside the crankcase, that's pretty bad, because it would mean there was no oil in there. I like to stick a few of these caps on early. Makes it a little bit less painful later on when you're trying to get them all in. I'm pretty sure that when these are all secured, that the next thing it's going to let me do is put on the valve cover. And I don't like to do that because it looks dumb. It doesn't make any sense to put it on before the front of the engine is done, because it overlaps when you put on like the timing cover and everything. You see here, I think actually there's two bolts. Oh no, the bolts run down these section in the middle. But you see the way the corner overlaps here? Yeah, I don't like that. It bothers my OCD. The rotary engine does the same thing, because you can put like the valve, you can put the not the valve, the oil pan on, and it will stick out the front of the engine block, even though you have, since you haven't put, even when you haven't put on the front of the whatever it's called, the rotary body, front body piece. I can't remember the name of that thing, and that always bothers me too if I do it that way. Now that can go on. And the last thing will be the spark plug wires. And we are set. The exhaust manifolds go on when it's in the car. Install. Thank you. Remember to put oil in it this time. Actually, I was in the wrong mode there. So we have to go up to put on the front exhaust section. And then we'll have to come back down to put on the manifolds and the starter, which just occurs to me that, no. Oh yeah, okay, that just looked odd for a minute there. Yeah, I don't think I have a starter. This car didn't have one. I remember looking, and it didn't have a starter. Because the Charger or the Mercedes, I don't remember now. One of them, maybe even both of them, actually had a starter that I was able to repair and reuse, and this car didn't have one. Okay, that should be 100% complete. Perfect. Where am I going? There we go. Had to think about that for a second. $150, I think it's like $347 or something like that. Even as I said that, I realized it was ridiculous. 300 would be 100% increase. 256 is a lot more realistic. That's, yeah. What am I doing here? Get back into that mode. Yeah, I am really, really pleased with how that looks. The rims are perfect. paint scheme is just freaking badass. We need like an auction house type thing where we can sell cars at auction, because this thing would go for a lot, I think. Super old school interior. Analog dials. Look, it's got a push button radio with an analog knob. Those look like AM numbers too. Analog clock. Manual transmission. Do you have a clutch pedal? I can't see it from here. Yeah, it does have a clutch pedal. Sometimes they don't. Okay, I have to drive this thing. This is going to be fun. You're the only one that will run. Okay. Oh man, I love it. Oh my god, it looks so good. I can't believe it looks good. I can't believe how good it looks. What is that? What is that on the corner of the that thing on the corner right above the driver's head? What is that? That's weird. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. Wow. I can't believe. I tell you what, man. The in-game cars, the vanilla cars that come with the game as the base game cars, you can really do them up nice. And this is really something. I'm really pleased with how this looks. Okay. I put sport tires on it. That might have been a mistake, because these are skinny tires. Hopefully it doesn't skid around. No, they're doing okay. We're not drifting too much. We're not drifting hardly at all. Okay, we're edging to the left. We're almost done though. 140 miles an hour. 142, 43, 44. Yeah. That's pretty good. Okay, cool. So that was a barn find, and I actually at this point have no idea how much I paid for it. I really should keep a note or something that tells me what I paid for this thing in the barn. It is worth now, looks like $92,000, $93,000, $92,000. Not 100, doesn't crack 100 grand, but it's still worth a decent chunk of change. And I'm sure. I mean, I'd be willing to bet that at auction, at a class. I mean, if a classic. I mean, if there were a car auction setting thing in the game where you could auction stuff, even just to the CPU, I bet it would go for a lot more than that. Because that thing, it looks amazing. But let's go ahead and sell it. I mean, I don't really need to keep it, and I'm sure I will find more than one GT20 as time goes on. So, and I'm trying to get stuff out of my parking rather than into it. So, $92,740. And that was not too bad. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I think I have some extra. No, I don't. I thought I had some extra bits in my inventory besides the cases. Those are the cases that were left over from going to the barn, so I'll open those later. Okay, cool. So that'll wrap this one up. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Whether I'm going to work on. I'm probably not going to work on the Viper because I did a Viper recently. I'll finish it and sell it. Probably won't work on it directly in front of everybody. The SLS I haven't done in quite a while, so I may go ahead and do that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, that will wrap this one up. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you again here for our next Junkyard adventure. So on that note, bye for now.